So my name is Chase Neukam. I am 24 years old. I graduated my undergraduate's degree from Ball State University, where I started Ball State Cardinal Esports. And so 2 years after graduating, I have worked in the space. I was the director and founder of Paradigm, which was a $500,000 virtual reality and esports center located here in Davenport, Iowa, where I worked 70 to 90 hours a week for a year straight, and I ran over 120 esports tournaments, including a multiple $10,000 plus payout tournaments. The biggest being Paradigm Shift at Rhythm City Casino, July 19th of 2019, where we were considered a C-tier Panda Global event, and we paid out $25,000 in prize money and cash prizes to the winners of that event. So it was considered Iowa's first esports major. Went from there, and now I started Quad City Esports, which is the local Quad City community here in Davenport, Iowa, the greater community's esports community, if you will. And now I am the director of the St. Ambrose varsity esports team for this is going into my second year.
Wow, that is awesome. I'm also 24 years old, which is great to see another young professional in the field here doing what we love. Sounds like you have been ingrained in this for a really long time, huh? Are you a gamer
I
yourself?
I have. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have. It's actually funny because I grew up without internet. And
Oh,
so
goodness. Okay.
uh yeah, I grew up actually a financial minority in Indiana. My family made less than $8,000 a year from 2009 to 2015. And so for all of my high school, we were just jumping around. Father wasn't really in the picture. Really, my life was like a series of unfortunate events. Father wasn't in the picture. Mom developed breast cancer when I was a sophomore. So I worked in Indiana as a farmer for my uncle. I mowed lawns. I worked at a local grocery store. I did everything I could. I have two younger sisters to raise them up to what they are now. And then I had some family step in and take over when I graduated and went off into college. And so, yeah, I've realized my junior, senior year how big esports was and where it was going. And so, that's where I am now. And so I decided I made it a goal to make it into the space and make it into esports. And so here we are.
I think that's awesome. And, good for you for, facing all of those things and overcoming them and not giving up. I think that's really important. I think that says a
Hmm.
lot about the esports community in general.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of resilient characters we have that are interested in working in the field, and it's just about giving them a voice. But
Hmm.
I'm sure we could talk hours about that. Um,
Oh, yes.
so let's circle back over here to the St. Ambrose Esports program. Can you talk a
Hmm.
little bit about how it got started?
So the St. Ambrose Esports program got started in 2018. I was working at Paradigm at the time. And so when I was at Paradigm, I heard that the local college was going to be starting a varsity esports team. And the coach in the first year was Josh Sides, who is currently at Winthrop University. Now, Josh is a fantastic coach, just all around great person, great personality. He basically wanted to create in his first year a team that would be a winning team. And so he was able to recruit master and grandmaster level players to the team in his first year, and they got fourth in the TESPA varsity series in
Wow.
their first year. Yeah, which was massive for him. They also in their first year won HuFest for Overwatch, and I think they won or got second in Overwatch, and then they won League of Legends. And so
Very nice.
um, made a name for themselves in the first year. Really, the first semester. I say that because Josh's coaching style was a bit different at the time. From what I heard from the players, was practice was at 6, and we left when we left,
Hmm.
and so that's just not a good model for college students because they have a lot to juggle, right? They have
Right.
classes, they have a home life, they have relationships. They're trying to it's a coming of age type thing, and so Josh in that first year kind of didn't realize that the university's goals didn't align with his own goals for esports, and so he decided to move to Winthrop. I was at Paradigm at the time. I was really looking for another opportunity that was more focused around community growth and team building. I was an RA for 2 years in college, and I worked as an orientation leader at Ball State, and so I'm a big people person, and I found myself at Paradigm being more of an entrepreneur and needing to work with an underlying monetary value to all of my relationships, rather than trying to build a wholesome, holistic experience for people. And so I found that, that's what I wanted to do. So I came here and I basically re-envisioned the program. And so the first thing I did was I typed up a 5-page contract, kind of going over everything that our program would require, and everything that it would entail. Basically, being less of a contract, more of a memorandum of understanding on what we were doing. And so I was hired in July, and when I finished reaching out to all of the students from the previous year, I found that I would have 3 returners from a list of 15 people. And so I had a month to essentially recruit 12 to 15 people, which is a lot for anyone in the collegiate space. And so I did that. I just put my, as they would say, pulled myself up by the bootstraps, and I just did it. And so poured a lot of hours into that month, but we started the year strong. And so my vision, my focus is, when I graduated college, I applied to around 96 esports positions, and I got 3 offers. And mind you, I had been working in the space. I had ran intercollegiate Indiana tournaments, and I knew how to run LANs. I had ran a podcast at that point. I had built Cardinal Esports for 3 years. And so I felt like, I was qualified. However, when I was looking at all of the positions at the time, this is like, 2018. When I was looking at all the positions at the time, it was, a lot of, they really ranged. And so I got 3 offers, and it blew my mind, because I was like, wow, I feel like I should be getting a lot more offers in this. And so, I took the offer to come out to Paradigm. Now, I'm fast forward a couple years now, I'm in the program. I'm thinking, what can I best do for my students? What is best for a program? We have all of these new programs. We talk about it in one of our videos, but there's a and there's a statistic. In like 2016, there were maybe 30 colleges that offered varsity esports scholarships, and now in 2020, there's over 350. And that's exponential growth.
Yeah.
No matter how you look at it. And so all of these schools keep starting programs fundamentally for the same thing, and that is to have a self-sustaining program and to be winners. That's how every program wants to go, and that's how the directors and coaches of those programs push their programs. I believe that should be an inherent goal when you have any competitive team. Their inherent goal should be to win, right? And so I had to ask myself, what is most important for a team? Having a victory that I say, we won the 2014 Overwatch championship, etc., whatever, or saying, I have a player who graduated last semester who makes videos for FaZe K, which is true. I have a videographer that graduated who now makes videos for FaZe Clan and Ducky. And that means much more to me, because I know that he's working professionally in the space.
Right.
And so now that's an opportunity, right? And so that's what we put our focus on. So it says in our contract, our program focuses on preparing our students for career opportunities and student branding to empower our athletes to upstand themselves as young esports professionals to ensure the best avenues for success post-graduation. Our program is meant, and this is kind of where I tell all my students, first and foremost, I am a grassroots tournament organizer and community leader. Second, I'm a collegiate esports coach, because I'm looking out for everyone in my esports community, everyone in my sphere. And so what's most important to me is having a student come in as a team manager or as a broadcast manager or as a marketing manager, work within the space for these 4 years, having a tangible portfolio that they can show to people, and then graduating and being able to choose between a list of dozen opportunities because people are seeking them out.
Right.
And so that's our kind of goal, our vision for our program, and really what our program kind of focuses on in terms of its inherent structure.
Okay. So focusing on outcomes then, what are some unique things that your program does differently that helps prepare students for these kinds of outcomes? Are there academic programs? Are there internship or volunteer opportunities? How does that lie?
So we're working, so this is our second year in the program, and it's a really weird second year because of COVID. So it's like we had a lot of plans for this year that were kind of just shot down because of our current sphere and space. But I can tell you what we did do in our first year and what we're expanding on it. So what we did in our first year is I was able to get a, first and foremost, my title is coach. My role is really more of a director,
Hmm.
just like a lot of other people in the space. And so we had a League of Legends and an Overwatch team last year. And so I expanded it and flushed it out to include a variety of a lot more games. So we included a Fortnite team, a first person shooter battle royale team, a Rocket League team, and a fighting games team. You'll notice two of those teams, the FPS battle royale team and the fighting games team, are genre based. And that
Hmm.
is because, every year there's a new fighting game that comes out, and every
Hmm.
few some months there's a new battle royale that comes out. And so we wanted to create an all-encompassing environment for those highly volatile industries that just change games multiple times a year. And so we more or less are looking and how we structure our program to hire characteristics and player traits, less of just trying to recruit rank, right?
Mm.
I would rather recruit someone who is dedicated and passionate about esports and is willing to learn. Like, I have my Overwatch team manager that came in last year as a freshman. He was a silver level player, busted his ass throughout the year, and now he's a master's level player.
Wow.
And that's the kind of storyline that I want for anyone that I bring into our
Hmm.
program. And so, in terms of the opportunities that we provide, last year we expanded our program to include a lot more games. And so this year last year and this year, I included team manager positions. And so you can learn everything that you do in your team manager position is everything that a professional team manager would do. You work within a budget. So our whole entire budget for our program, I basically take out what we need to give everyone. So like uniform costs, any memberships we need to renew, stuff like that. And then I disperse most of the rest of the money out to the teams themselves. And I talk to the managers and I say, you're going to do what a professional manager would do. You're going to help me recruit players to refill spots on the roster. You're going to look for opportunities for your players to compete. You're going to make sure that they're showing up to practices, that they're academically, physically, and mentally successful. And you're going to work within that budget. You have this amount of money to use for the year. Use it wisely. You can do whatever you want with it. You can hire a third-party coach to do VODs. You can
Hmm.
you can take your team out to go bowling. You can do a pizza party. And beforehand, we were using most of the money to travel to events, because I believe that
Right.
going to events is literally the best way to network. And in the business field, networking is everything when you're looking for
Hmm.
opportunities. And so that's what we essentially did. And so that's the team manager position in a nutshell, and how that works within the program. So we have that position. We have a voluntary captain position, where I try to teach more leadership opportunities within that role, and how leaders are really the heart of esports, and leadership is one of the best practices to use in the esports space. I'm also pursuing my master's of organizational leadership, so I try to bestow a lot of the knowledge that I'm learning
Mm.
in my classes to them. And so we have a marketing manager position, which does a lot of stuff, videography, graphic design. I kind of let that position be filled by the person itself. So last year, that manager was filled by our videographer, Perry Peterson. He did a lot of video work. This year, we have Fernando Preciado, who is working more into the marketing aspect. So he's creating and really sorry, he's putting together a portfolio, and he's putting together more graphic based content for us to push out on our socials, as well as putting together a stream team that will push our stream as well as our students' streams, if they want to be streamers. So really, it's hard when you think about it, because all of our different facets of our programs, the team manager position, the
Hmm.
stream team, the social media marketing manager position. I have a graduate assistant who is a retention and recruitment coordinator position. All of these positions kind of communicate with each other to create that holistic experience, and to create an environment where you're not just set to do the work that you're on. You're doing what esports does, which is adapting to your environment and making it to where the other people that you're working with are getting benefit off of working with you as well.
Yeah.
And so um, those are the main positions that we have as of right now, and opportunities that we provide. Like I said, we're looking at internship opportunities right now with a couple of different companies, and I've been able to work with my students to get different internship opportunities with different companies. So Perry Peterson, for instance, he did an internship with uh, Counter Logic Gaming last summer, and that kind of led him into his role with working with FaZe K. And this past summer, Fernando Preciado, who I was just also talking about, did an internship with AVGL, and so he's part of the ambassador program now for AVGL. And so it's a lot of different moving pieces, but the important part is just not working with these pieces in solidarity, but also having these pieces work as a web or a network
Mm-hmm.
with each other.
Awesome. I like that. I like how your students are getting some nice hands-on experience with those
Mhm.
different positions. That's something that's really unique, I think. So speaking of the facilities and the students managing these sorts of things, I know with COVID things are a little different, but what do your facilities look like at this moment? What kind of equipment do you have? What's the setup and how is it used?
Yeah, and so we right now, every year we have one major goal. Last year, our one major goal was to get internet expansion, and so this year we were able to get a 500 megabyte upload download speed fiber line installed in our esports center. And so next year, there's a computer lab that's really close to our center that we're hopefully looking to take that space and expand our program to that space and add a couple more teams, as well as opportunities on the weekends for our overall campus environment to get involved in that space. But looking at our current space, we obviously have that fiber line. Let me just scroll down on my page because I have all of it. So, PC and console setups, we have 28 now. Alienware Aurora R8 210 ARGS computers. They're like retail price like $2,000, $2,500. They were kind of purchased before I was here by Josh and the university. I want to in the future hopefully just build computers with my students so they get
Mm.
that opportunity and experience to know how to build and manage a PC. But like I said, Alienware computers. We have Alienware gaming monitors as well. And they run at the fastest refresh rate. We have custom Respawn RSP 105 chairs. I'm not currently using one because I keep them all out there. We have Respawn desks. We have PlayStation 4s, Nintendo Switches, streaming equipment such as webcams, HyperX headsets, mics, stands, all of that. We have Corsair keyboards and Corsair mice. We have Logitech headsets just for the overall team to use. The HyperX headsets we try to keep for our casting talent. We have Reflex Lab mouse pads. We offer mouse bungees. We have Elgato capture cards. We have Bluetooth soundbars. We have a really fancy Epson projector. We have laptops. So we try to have enough equipment not only to run our esports center as it currently stands, but also to run events, right? And so with me being an event organizer, that's important to the program because that creates opportunities. But in terms of the center, how it looks right now, everything's in kind of one room. And with COVID happening, obviously I'm not wearing one, but we have, I don't have one right now because I'm in my office, but we have gator neck face masks that we gave everyone in the program. We have dividers for every single setup in the program. If you've ever seen those room dividers that are
Mm-hmm.
like four pieces and accordion out, we basically detached them from themselves and put each individual piece in between a computer because plexiglass is really expensive to put in between
Mm-hmm.
setups. And so that was an inexpensive and efficient way to separate all of the computers and the players. We have these nifty little hand sanitizer bottles at like all of our setups so that when you sit down, you just spray it on your hands. We have wipes at the front of our room as well as hand sanitizer gel as well. So we try to keep it a clean environment. All of my team managers actually, for one of their hours, since we now have a social media marketing manager this year, I took their social media time off, and instead they spend an hour on every day of the week cleaning the whole facility. So,
Okay.
so we try to keep it a clean and nice environment for anyone that wants to come in and look at it, and try to space everyone out in a COVID-19 sort of world. So, and
Yeah.
what's great is I'm a firm believer, are virtually the same age as some of these college students. And so I try to keep a very open mind on what they need in the
Mm-hmm.
center. So I put out a feedback form at the end of every single semester. And as well as I have one-on-one time with all of my students once a week to ensure their success. And I ask them all the time, be upfront with me, tell me the honest truth. what do we need? What issues do you see? How can we fix these issues to make a program that really works for you and your best interests? And so that's kind of the offerings that we have in the center and kind of how it's laid out.
Awesome. I like how there's an advising piece to this as well. I think that's something very unique about your program as well. Very, very
Yeah,
cool.
we focus very heavily on the mental aspect of
I
esports.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's too many programs that just hire gamers, and that's why it says in our tagline we're trying to make them young esports professionals. So we actually have a thing within our program called mental coaching, and it's once a week, it's an hour, and what I do over the summer is I read a book that would help the mental fortitude of my students not only in game but out of game as well. And so last summer I read a book called The Inner Game of Tennis, which is a book that's widely promoted by a lot of esports professionals, including Leffen and the Smash Bros scene. It's really short. It's really only like 150 pages, but it goes over how to approach competition with a positive mental mindset and learning from your mistakes
Wow.
and how to engage in playing. And so we did that last year, and so this year I read The Art of War, and I'm teaching The Art of War to my students. And so we do it from a micro perspective, meaning how they should play their game, and then we do it from a macro perspective on how they should engage in their life activities, how they should engage in life as a young esports professional.